Before we begin Sif Yurchas, a dot of Aktama, like we've actually mentioned at the beginning of this Siman, that there are different types of washing your hands. There's the wash, and as we've been seeing a lot, there's the washing your hands because of the Ruach Ra. That's what we've seen primarily waking up in the morning. We already touched a little bit about the Ruach Ra that potentially will be in a bathroom. And today is going to come out at the forefront. And the Sefer Piskei Teshuvos actually breaks it down into two main categories, four subcategories. That we have the washing because of the Ruach Ra, which is the morning, for sure, maybe in the bathroom. And then we have the washing because of lichloch, because of filth, because of disgusting, because of touching parts of your body, etc. And as we're going to see, that the halachas are going to really split, that by Ruach Ra, we're going to have certain stringencies, whether it's water, whether it's 3 times, whether it's cup, whereas when it comes to lichloch, touching different areas of your body and filth and whatnot, then it's really just going to be to clean off your hands. And then of course, on top of that, we're going to have davening, as we've been keep on mentioning them, not for davening, because davening is kedusha yisera, that you're washing your hands for an extra holiness to daven. That's a separate inyan entirely. So let's begin with the Machaber and Sif Yurchas says, Elu dvarim, these are the items that you need to wash with water. So before we even go into what are the Elu dvarim, let's first see the Mishnah Berurah of here. Says Mishnah Berurah, why are you washing your hands? Lahasir ruach ra asher al yidei zeh, to remove the impure spirit. Al kein yimayer, do it right away. Lital takev, because you have impure spirits. As we've seen, you wake up in the morning, you want to right away get rid of this item from your hands. Till your wrist, certainly till your knuckles. Here it is. But if you made your hands dirty, you berefes. Now it's not even impure spirit, it's just filth, it's disgusting. Such an important line. If it's not because of Ruach Ra, just because of dirt, all you have to do is wipe it off, and that is it. Tefillah is different. B'mayim, you need water. After the tefillah, so even for davening, v'kolshki in the Torah, and certainly for learning, everything else is enough just to cleanliness. The married become an amita when you get up from the morning. V'kolshkein. The rest of them, listalik ruach ra, tzarech davka mayim, again to get rid of this ruach ra. That's when you need the water. Vayin lekaman. I'm sorry, we turned over the page in the Mishnah Berurah Siman Emhalf. Vein zarech gimel pamim. Again, you only need 3 times when you get up in the morning. So when you get up in the morning, that's the most stringent. That's the Ruach Ra, and that's the high level of Ruach Ra. That's the impure spirit that you need water to get rid of, and you need 3 times. Perhaps the Volta Gain required 4 times, like we pointed out already. But everything else, when it comes to just Nikiyain, when it comes to cleanliness, doesn't need 3 times. It might not even need water. But now the Mishnah Berurah says, V'yesh machamirim b'hoilech ben amesim. There's some who are stringent when they walk amongst the dead. When they have intimate relations. Some people are also makbid in those 2 cases that you need 3 times. And again, the obvious implications are, we're about to have a whole list, that he just said, when it comes to waking up in the morning, that's the most important. Some are machmir when they go into a cemetery, when they have relations, 3 times. And the last is, there is the Sefer Eichlai Kodesh that is stringent. When you leave the bathroom to wash 3 times. Magen Avraham argues on that. So right away, before we even begin, I'm sure there's a bit of an eye-opener. Many people were taught and believe that after you use the bathroom, you have to wash 3 times. We see right off the bat, when you go to the bathroom, generally, why is that? We'll see more in a moment. It's because of cleanliness, not because of Ruach Ra. Therefore, do you need water? Do you need 3 times? Doesn't sound that way. You just need to wipe your hands as best as possible, which easiest is, of course, with water. But now, do you have to use a cup and 3 times? So we quoted a Sefer Eichlai Kodesh that says yes. And the Magen Avraham argues. So it sounds like 3 times leaving the bathroom is not, even in the world of the Mishnah Berurah, is not going to be at the top of the totem pole. When I say even at the world of the Mishnah Berurah, which we'll see in Dirshu in a moment, is because we already know that our bathrooms might not have the same level as the bathrooms in Man Chazal. Let's get there right now. So what are all the items you have to wash your hands? Top of the page over here, we go back to the Machaber and he says, Kameh Amita. Number 1, most important, you get up in the morning. You go to the bathroom, and to a bath house. Again, a bath house was an area with lots of steam and a bit of a dirty area, not like our showers nowadays. I tell see part of you cut your nails, and you remove your shoes, you touch your feet, you scratch your head. So and even within this list, really we can break it up. You have the first is getting up in the morning, then we have the bathroom, and each one we're going progressively away from ruach ra into the world of just dirt, of wiping your head and scratching your head and wiping your feet, etc. Those who say, says the Machaber, when you go to a cemetery, Misha Nagea someone who touches a dead body, Misha Mafli Kelov, someone who gets rid of lice from his garments, Mamisham Shmitasai, someone who has intimate relations, Vanagea Bikina, if you touch a house, Vanagea Bekufa Biyada, if you touch your body, Misha is do any of these things, Veloy Natal, and you don't wash your hands, you're going to forget your learning, you'll lose your mind. So of course, even though we're mentioning certain kulas, certain leniencies, you realize that the Machaber gives this a high level. Says you'll forget your learning, you'll lose your mind. So it is definitely something that we should have a bit of a heavy hand when we discuss exactly what's going on over here. Let's continue in the Mishnah Berurah Siman Mem. Discusses when you leave the bathroom. Even if you use the bathroom, you just left the bathroom. And so to the bathhouse. Because there's a ruach ra that's in the bathroom. So a little bit different. I kept on saying the ruach ra specifically in the morning. Says Mishnah Berurah, there's a ruach ra in the Beis HaKisei, in the Beis HaMerchatz. Let's see a few more Mishnah Berurahs, then we'll go to the Dirshu and we'll point out perhaps why nowadays is a bit more lenient. Sivkata men olive your shoes, mishum shenagea biyadav, because you touch your hands, Beis HaChalitza, when you take off your shoes. Avaloy naga b'hem, if you didn't touch your shoes, in tzarech matilo, you don't have to wash your hands. V'achayleitz men olav, v'naga b'raglav, you touch your feet, v'chayfei v'roshi, you scratch your head. Einay mishum ruach ra. Oh, it's not because of a ruach ra. Rak mishom nikiyos, just for cleanliness. Al kain in tzarech lamayir li yadav. You don't have to run right away to wash your hands. Take off masha ein kain be'enach, but the other ones mishom ruach ra chanav sivkad al. So any times because of ruach ra, wake you up in the morning, perhaps the bathroom, you wash your hands right away. The other items that we are discussing, like touching your feet, scratching your head, that's not ruach ra. That's cleanliness. You don't have to wash it as quickly. Sivkad man beis mina meisim bebeis akvaris. Because of Maril, and says the Maril, Simin Chav Gimel, Sheish Alitel Koidim Sheish Val Kvaris before you daven, V'roichsin Sheinis B'shuv L'Chatzir, wash one before you into the cemetery and one when you leave. Beis HaKvaris Sheruchas Rais, Malavin Achayzir, the evil spirits take you out. V'yishnoy again, oz lerchayt come upon him. Some people wash their face. Mem Gimel b'meis, you touch a mace. I feel min shedechas they tell mace achad. You went next to one mace. Hojal levasay noagin v'tilo. You went to levaya. You wash your hands. V'noagu lahakvin im yiknas adon lebeis acher. And we are noyeg, says Mishnah Berurah. What do we noyeg after we go to levaya? Not to enter into someone else's house. Koydem sheyirchas before you wash your hands. Or minhag avaisenu tairi. I don't know how many times Mishnah Berurah says such a line. The minhag of our fathers is taira, and this is what everyone does: is you don't go in to wash your hands. Someone brings out water and leaves it outside the house. You never want to walk into someone else's house after levaya before washing your hands. But again, you do see. First of all, the Mishnah Berurah said labayis acher, someone else's house. We'll point out in a moment that maybe it means even your own house. Says the Mishnah Berurah, "Sivkata memdalit mi." Memdalid, even if you don't find the lice itself, but for the act of removing lice, that act is an act you get your hands dirty. Bekina, maybe that bug is enough just to wash your hands, just cleanliness. You touch your body in the covered areas, parts that are full of sweat, so you have to wash your hands afterwards. So if you're a Talmid Chacham, you forget your Torah. If you're not a Talmid Chacham, some stupidity enters your mind, and therefore causes you to sin. So you have to be careful. Number one, we don't want to forget our learning. Number two, we definitely don't want to act with stupidity. So let's continue over here in the Dirshu, note number 47. Note number 47. No, this was going back in yesterday, David Melech, how much he slept, that the Baal Nefesh should be machmir as much as possible, not to sleep those shitin nishmin, and it's just important, just not important, but yeah, important, that Chaim Kanievsky points out, the minhag la'akabachs mi people certainly sleep less than a half hour, and our Litzion says that the number is a half hour, that middle shita, and let's continue. Says the Dirshu, note number 48, discussing leaving the bathroom, you have to wash your hands 3 times. And this is a note that we discussed yesterday about Yom Kippurim. It's actually a carbon copy note from 2 days ago that the Mata Ephraim says you wash your hands every single day 3 times. You should say the Yom Kippur, just not to your wrist, to your knuckles. This is Rosh Hashanah Zalman that says that's what you do. This is Rav Yasha that says you only do it once. And we mentioned the minhag, of course, like the Mata Ephraim, that on Yom Kippur you wash your hands 3 times. Until your knuckles. And then the Mishnah Berurah Siman Mem in Dirshu note number 49 discusses if you go to the bathroom, even if you didn't use the bathroom. But now, what's the obvious question as we spoke about at the beginning of this siman? What about our toilets nowadays? Note number 49, Bisakisi's Manenu, the Chazon Ish, and as well Ramesha Feinstein, and as well Minchas Yitzchak, and Rav Yashiv, all discuss maybe our bathrooms have number 1, a din of a Bisakisi Parsai, which we know that the waste doesn't sit there, and therefore there's no Ruach Ra there. And the Lamaisa, it seems like all the Gedalim paskin to be machmir, that one should assume it does have some level of Ruach Ra. Now, what does that level dictate? So if we were to assume 100%, you shouldn't wash your hands there, because using the bathroom, when you wash your hands in the bathroom, then what? You wash your hands in a place of Ruach Ra, which is really what the Dirshu continues in this note number 49. It says, what about washing your hands? So they say in the name of the Chazon Ish, what you should do is you should walk out of the bathroom with your hands wet, and then dry them outside of the bathroom, which I think people know when they're washing for bread if they have to wash in a bathroom. But they still might even just stop walking into the bathroom. And the there is a makayim to be mekel. I'll just point out, they don't quote over here, but it's famous, Rav Chaim Sheinberg was much more lenient than these opinions. He held that our bathrooms are mamish apesakise parsai, they're clean, and there's no waste there, and we can add on, there are sinks there, and there's a closet there for storage, and there's a shower there, and there's a vanity there, and there's a mirror there, there's all these other items. Therefore, Allah Lamais Rav Sheinberg held that our bathrooms really do not have Ruach Ra in them, and therefore the nafkamina would be, should one wash his hands outside the bathroom? It seems like from the other Gedalim, there is a chumrah lechatchila, but if one does not, there's definitely what to rely upon. And Dirshu continues over here discussing what about washing your hands to eat. It says, we'll get there in Kuf Samach Beis. With regard to washing your hands for davening, Ramesha says it's enough because you just have to clean your hands. As we said, tefillah is a different level. And therefore, if you have no other choice, you can wash them in the bathroom. But again, the best to wipe them afterwards. So we should take away, if one can, it's better to walk out of the bathroom with wet hands and dry them when you're outside of the bathroom. Shevet Alevi says you can be makel in the morning to wash your hands in the bathroom. Now, what about a shower room nowadays? Continues Dirshu note 50, which is not just for washing, has other usages like we just mentioned. So there's an Avi Ezri that says it does not have a din of Americhatz. Why? As we spoke about, because there's storage and there's other reasons to be mekel. And therefore, it's a Rabbanan, we go up to the mekel, and therefore there is room to be lenient in the shower, in the bathroom, etc. Let's continue over here in Dirshu note number 52. When he discusses taking off your shoes, he discusses scratching your head. He says, stam shoes are not clean. That's an Al Yarab and a Pri Megadim. But let's say you have slippers or something like that. They definitely could be clean. You only wear them within the house. So the Jewish Erech Shai that says that it's only leather that has this issue, and that was the Chazon Ish held as well. And there, whereas the Ben Ish Chai was machmer in all cases. So we're seeing already, we're getting a little bit of a feeling that the reason shoes is because there's dirt on your shoes, and this is the reason why. That he continues over here. What about the laces? So the Chazon Ish says, no, the laces aren't a problem. Laces aren't dirty of the shoes themselves. Somehow you'll know. Sometimes you'll see a Talmid Chacham when he ties his shoes, he'll only touch the laces. He'll make sure not to touch the shoes. Rav Elyashiv, the Dirshu continues, was machmer in that case. But again, laces are less dirty. We saw slippers aren't dirty. Someone even see the top part of his shoe is not as dirty, because that's not the part that goes on the floor and the filth on the dirt, etc. He continues over here. Now, we spoke about scratching your head. Now, very important, Dirshu 53 says, if you didn't scratch your head, you just touched your hair, as we're showing right over here, you're touching your hair, that is not a problem. You do not have to wash your hands. It's when you go in for the deep scratch. Also, there'll be a difference to the revealed areas and the unrevealed areas. They want to say, let's say the front of your hair, these are areas which are not generally covered. Under your yarmulke is an area that's more generally covered. So again, you don't want to go in for the scratch, go in deep, but on the outside surface area, that's not going to be a problem. And now we'll go to Dirshu 56, in which he quotes that you go into someone else's house. That's what the Ramah says, but it sounds like your own house, you're allowed to go into wash your hands after Levaya, but there is a Lavosh that says even your own house. And the Kav HaChaim, which often will go with his opinion when it comes to these Kabbalistic inyanim, says you should not even go into your own house. Now, why should you not touch certain areas of your body? Because they're full of sweat. Now, this is very important. There's your note number 57 over here discusses that your body is dirty, and therefore if you touch a covered area of your body, you have to wash your hands. Now, many people hear this and are bothered. What do you mean, my body's not dirty? What are you talking about? Here, I'm wearing sleeves, so anything under my sleeve is a covered area, so fine, it's an area that's always covered or uncovered. So maybe it's the upper arm or a chest, but what if it's not dirty? So first of all, Dirshu note number 57 says, what about for a mitzvah, like you're putting in your tefillin? We'll get in Siman Chav Zayin, we'll get up to that soon enough. He says, now, what if you're in the water, you're in the shower, you're in the bath, and you touch your body? So there's Tuvas Torah Lishma that says, that's not a problem. Because you can't say that it's dirty if you're in the water washing off the dirt. So there's no dirt over there. And Rishon Zalman agrees with that. So that's note number one, is that while you're in the water, that's not a problem. Whereas, we have to point out that the Shevet Levi wasn't happy with that svara. Now, what happens? You come out of the shower, so you just wash off your whole body. But then when you're getting dressed, you touch your body. So when you're getting dressed after the shower, do you have to wash your hands again? Because you just touched the covered areas of your body. That's what our stuff would seemingly dictate to us. So Dirshu over here points out, what if you wash your body very, very well? Now he sends us to the Milum. He sends us to the Milum in the back with regard to, again, that you took a shower, you're clean, and then you touch your body. And he continues over here, and this is Dirshu note number 58 in the back of the Sefer. And then you touch your body after you just finish cleaning your body. So that same Tuvas Torah Lishma says that if your body's still wet, then it's as if you're in the water and it's not a problem. But once you dry off your body and then you touch those areas, then it's an issue. You have to re-wash your hands. And Del Yerabah, the Buchacha, says the same thing. We say loy chalku, loy plug, and even if your body is clean, you have to wash your hands. And this is the most popular opinion, is that even after you came out of the shower, this is the reason why many people after they shower, after they go to the mikvah, they wash their hands. But be careful, do it after you get dressed. If you do it before you get dressed, it's pointless, because then you go and you get dressed and you touch your body, then you have to wash your hands again. But over here, just to point out, maybe we'll call it limat chos, maybe we'll call this what many people rely upon. He quotes Kav HaChaim, very important, that says that if you want to touch your body after you cleaned it very well and there's nothing on your body, you're perfectly clean, you don't have to wash your hands. And this is perhaps what many people rely upon, that they shower and they don't wash their hands afterwards. They shower and they get dressed right away. There's no sweat, there's no anything on their body, so there would perhaps be mucker to be maker like this Kav HaChaim, that you can't say that touching the covered areas of your body have filth on them if you just finish washing off the filth. But of course, throughout the course of a day, as you sweat and the sweat dries and the body does accumulate some level of dirt, once you touch a covered area of your body, you do have to wash your hands. Dirshu over here continues, what if you touch a garment that's full of sweat? He says the Bir Halacha says you should not do it. This is, for example, underneath your head, he says, gets full of sweat. And the Shevet Levi says the same type of thing. A garment, your underarms, you should not touch. And even if you touch with one finger, that you have to wash your entire hand. Now let's go back. It's getting late. Let's go back and let's finish up Sif Yotes Chaf Aleph. Says the Mechaber, Hamakis dam me'aksafim lo yatal yadav. If you give off blood and you don't wash your hands, mefachid zayin yom, and you can be nervous for 7 days. Hamagaleach, if someone gets a haircut lo yatav mefachid gimel yom, you're going to be nervous for 3 days. Hanoital si parnav, you cut your nails lo yatal yadav mefachid yom echad, you'll be nervous and scaring for 1 day. Ve'en yodeh mimam mefachid. Interesting halacha. There's like some supernatural fear that's going to get upon you. You're not going to even know why. So be careful to wash your hands after you give off blood, after you take a haircut, and after you cut your nails. Continues the Mechaber and Sif Chaf. If you wash your face and you don't dry it well, or it's going to cause other types of boils in your face. to wash your face well with some sort of mei silka. Sif Chav says, Sarach lizar betfila b'achila. One has to be careful when it comes to davening or eating. I like a month inside beis. We talk about davening over there. Shaliga b'shoik v'yerech becomes mechusen ba'adam. Should not touch the covered areas of your body when you're davening or eating. It's full of sweat and filth. Says the Ramah, it's filth. You should not scratch your head. The areas, as we monitor, the areas that are revealed on your head and your face, you do not have to be careful about that. So it says the Mishnah Berurah different types of bloodletting. Similarly, when you're learning, you should be careful not to touch your body. Let's say you're in the middle of davening, and you realize you touched the covered area. You should wipe off your hands on the wall. What else is he supposed to do? Just quickly wipe off your hands. If it's possible, you should go and wash your hands even in the middle of davening if you touch the covered area of your body. You got to wash your hands the second time. You do not make a new bracha during a Suda, and in Mirza Hashem we'll get there when we discuss the halachos of a Suda. To be careful from sweat. Sweat is the poison of death. Except what's on your face. No, give him a fun of a your neck at a chazev because of a shekel. That totally for you minhag each such an important line. Says the Machzor Shekel, I know it's late in the shir, I'm sorry. Says the Machzor Shekel is all dependent on the minhag of each and every place. And is it normal to be revealed? What is the normal cost of which parts of your body to be covered and uncovered? That is what dictates whether there is sweat or not. Your elbow. You're not wearing shoes or socks. Perhaps it's the same thing. Let's just go to Dirshu. They have so much Dirshu over here. We don't really have time right now. But let's just quickly see Dirshu 59. He says, how much blood do you have to give? Rav Yashiv says to Ravias. What about a blood test that are very common? So Shlomo Zalman says you do not have to wash your hands afterwards, because that was because Refuah wasn't just because of Bedika. People taking antigen tests and other types, antibody tests and whatnot. That's a bedikas dam. You do not have to wash your hands. Rav Yashiv concurs with the same type of thing. When he's giving blood, trumas dam. So on that, Rav Shlomo Zalman says that that's not and therefore again you do not have to necessarily wash your hands. And you're doing a mitzvah, but okay, it doesn't hurt just to go and wash your hands after you give off. Have to give up blood. Rav Yashiv says you're allowed to make a berach zananim to eat something. People like to eat it to give up blood, because again you're doing it for your body. During learning, Dirshu number 61 continues that you should try not to touch yourself, etc., your face. And again, we'll finish over here in Dirshu note 62, in which he says what is considered covered in your face. The Shevet Levi says that which is shukola machus aidea kaiva, covered with your hat, that which is not under the hat, not under the yarmulke, that's okay to touch. And similarly is going to be with the beard again. But the point is not to go deep in. Once you go deep in, you start scratching the inner areas, the scalp and the face and whatnot. That's when you get into these zeh issues, and that is when you have to wash your hands. We'll stop over here. We'll pick it up from here in the next year. B'siyata d'shmaya.